Hey guys, Rachele here with Amethyst Ascension. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for joining me again. So today I'm going to be doing my June reflections. A little bit of May is going to bleed over into this too because I didn't do a May reflections. So I wanted to talk about some of the shows that we're watching, some of the movies. I couldn't remember a whole bunch of movies. And books and favorite items and decks and journal. And so you might want to grab a coffee or tea or a little snack because it might be a little bit longer. I'll try to get through it as quickly as I can, but June was a busy month. So let me go back to, and I'll show the journal too in a little bit more detail. But I made a couple of sticker packs and I use them. They are over on my Ko-fi shop. I always have my links down in the description. But I made, I'll just show you right quick. These are tracking. So there's two sheets. The first sheet comes with like thicker lines. So books finished, group activities, package arrivals and ETAs, TV series I'm watching, hashtags to do. These are just great little widgets for your planners, your digital planners. Books I'm reading, deck purchases, monthly favorites, videos released. So if you keep track of like your videos each month, there you go. Or if you want to schedule them, you can. Movies I watched and decks worked with. And they're ready for good notes. And I'll be making a video soon on this. I did make a video a few days ago showing the shapes and the free stickers that I also made that are available over on my Ko-fi shop as well. They're free, so you can just pick them up. It's a good way for you to test and see whether or not this works on the device that you're using. But I've got a pickup prescription and, oops, just to show you right quick, these are all transparent. So they're all PNG files with no backgrounds other than what's meant to be. So you can pretty much put them in whatever part of your planners that you want. I've got an eye appointment here, pick up prescriptions, doctor's appointment, vet appointment, had to do a beagle, you know, because my love of my baby beagle. Upload video, edit video, social media keeping up, and record video. And I already showed those on the previous video when I showed the other stickers. So I'm using them in my planner this month to show you. I didn't finish any books, period. So in April, I had finished 4 or 5 books. And then I just took a break. But I've been watching a lot of TV series and stuff. So that's kind of taken my entertainment. Other than I am reading Untold Tarot. I think that's Caitlin Matthews. And The Essential Lenormand by Rana George, I think that's, and then Hecate's Liminal Rights. I'm listening to that. I've only got a couple hours left of that, but it's not a really long book to begin with. So those are the only books that I'm currently listening to, and I mean, that's not true. There's a couple of different like romance books, but I've barely just begun those. So those are like a staple. Those are entertainment for me. So the decks that I worked with, I'll show those in a bit. Deck purchases, I'll show those in a bit. So let's talk about the movies. I watched Atlas with Jennifer Lopez, and I was really skeptical. Because I don't always love her movies, but I was blown away, surprised. I thought it was really good, really, really good. And So it's just about a more advanced world where her mother, Jennifer Lopez's mother, created or programmed like AI software, and she had an AI being played by an Asian actor. I'm not sure what his name is, but he and she, well, I don't want to give it all away. Let's just say that they're now fighting against this AI, and she had a bad experience because this AI also killed her mother. She took off running, and because she had merged with this AI, she understood how he thought, and he understood how she thought. So after he had escaped to another planet, now 20 odd years later, or 30, I can't remember the amount of time, she's going to this other planet with a team of other people that are merging with AI, like machines, in order to track down this AI leader dude and annihilate him. It's really freaking good. It's so good. So I highly recommend it. The Idea of You, I think I actually watched that in May with Anne Hathaway. I thought it was really good. I thought it was sad because of how they couldn't be a really together, and the struggles with the different ages and all that. But I did think it was really good. And then I watched Trigger Warning with Jessica Alba on Netflix. That was okay. I mean, she really did kick some butt in that movie, and I thought it was good like that, but it was just okay. Fair Play with Phoebe Dynevor, and I think I also watched that in May. But that one was really good. It shows it was a couple, and Phoebe Dynevor, if you don't know, is, was her name Phoebe? Yeah, Phoebe, I believe, is her name also on Bridgerton, the first season. She was the eldest daughter who got married in season 1. That's who the actor is. And Fair Play was she's in a relationship with this guy, and they both work at the same law firm, and she thinks and he thinks that he's going to get promoted, but she ends up getting promoted. And oh my gosh, the power struggles between those two, mainly because his pride is so wounded because, you know, and she was trying in order to get him promoted as well, but they just didn't like him. So, I mean, it's a good movie. I highly recommend it. Now, the series that my husband and I are watching, well, first I watched Evil. I'm still watching the newest season. I talked about that in a couple of months ago, watching like the 3rd season, I think it was. And now, right after that, the next season came out, like a month later, the new season came out, and I'm still watching that. It's really good. Touch briefly on it. It's a team. One is a psychiatrist, one is a like debunker, and the other one is a ordained priest, or soon to be ordained, but now I believe he's ordained in this series, or I mean in this season. Anyways, they are sent on jobs to see whether or not people are actually possessed, and, you know, setting up possessions, and a whole bunch of just like good versus evil is in it, and demons, and yeah. So it's really good. I really enjoy it. Masters of the Air, that's with Austin Butlers and Callum, I can't remember his last name, but it was a series that was based around World War II airmen. And oh my gosh, it was so good. It was sad, but it was all based on true accounts of what these airmen went through. And I don't remember what Maybe it was Amazon Prime. I can't remember for sure, but it was really good. It's called Masters of the Air. Austin Butler is the guy who played Elvis. So, Defending Jacob is another series that I finished, and it's with Chris Evans and I don't remember the actress's name. Dockery. Is it Michelle Dockery? I think, from Downton Abbey. That was a really good series. That was on Apple TV, and that is about parents of a 14-year-old son who was accused of killing a schoolmate. And he gets put on trial, and the whole series really is just about how they worked through it, and it's just horrible, the things that families go through. They're just like ripped apart, right? And there's a question of whether or not he really did it or not. So it leaves you kind of like hanging. But it was really good. And I really like Chris Evans. Not just that, he's really good to look at. Chris Evans is Captain America. Another series that my husband and I watched. The first three, it was only me. My husband didn't watch those with me. But this Dark Matter is a series that my hubby and I watched. That is with, and it's on Apple TV. It's with Joel Edgerton and Jennifer Connelly. And this one is really strange. It has to do with this happy family, and the guy, Joel Edgerton, is the father, and, well, pretty happy family. But anyways, he used to be a scientist, and he gave up his work in order to be a hands-on father and husband. He had made that choice when he had found out that Jennifer Connelly was pregnant. And so this was, 17 years later, fast forward, and he goes out to a bar celebrating with one of his friends because his friend just got an award, scientific award. And on the way home, he got jumped and kidnapped, thrown into a box. When he came out of the box, he was in a different alternate universe. And so this was about like the multiverse. And in this other multiverse, he is the one who had created this box. And another version of him from that world had kidnapped him, threw him in to that world so that he could impersonate him in his world. Because he had not made the decision to be with Jennifer Connelly, and he had regretted it for the rest of his life. So after going back, it's really good. I mean, they have, in order to try to get back to the world, they go through different boxes. They end up in different multiverses and learn about like the different choices that they had made. And it's just like, it's really good. I highly recommend it. Some of the different worlds are just sad, and it makes you realize how the choices that we make in our lives really dictate how our world ends up. That whole concept, right? I highly recommend it. So we're also watching The Boys, and that's on Amazon Prime. I'm not sure I think it's maybe the 4th season, and it's just really good. It's like superheroes that are just really assholes, okay? It's just a really good, kind of like, you see all the collateral damage, all of the big head friggin' egos that these superheroes get, and it's just really good, and it's raw, and it's just, like full frontal, and there's sex and gore, and it's really good though. We started watching House of Dragon again, and we love that series. We loved Game of Thrones, and now House of Dragon. I think this is the 2nd or 3rd season. I can't even remember. Another thing that was like the biggest thing for me that was in May, and then the second half came out in June, was Bridgerton season 3. Oh my gosh. And in April, I had went through, because I was so excited about this season with it being Colin and Penelope and their season. I went through and I read the first, the first, second, and fourth book. I still have to read, and I've started listening to the third book in the Bridgerton series. Bridgerton, if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock somewhere, is a series that was released on Netflix, and it is just fantastic. It is, I love it. I could totally immerse myself in that world. And I'm telling you, my algorithm, my YouTube algorithm, my TikTok algorithm, everything was just like blowing up Bridgerton, right? Pollen, you know, showing the real actors all over social media doing their tours. And so I was so excited for the third season, and it did not disappoint. I loved it. I don't want to say anything more if you haven't watched it, and I highly recommend the books. The books are so good. So, hashtags that I have really enjoyed in June was the Mid-Year Tarot Tag by Chanel over at Chanel Days. And she also did one for BookTube, but I don't really participate in BookTube other than I watch her. I love her reviews. They're so thorough, and you know, she just reads so much. There's always so much to take in. So half of the books that I do end up getting that are like romance and stuff like that all came from recommendations from her. So and I love them. She's really good at explaining, you know, reviewing a book so good that I know whether or not it's something that I'm going to enjoy. And it's usually right on. Another one that I enjoyed was the Tarot Collection Top Decks. That was created by Cesar over at 78 Puertas, I believe. I really enjoy doing that, and finding him for the first time and his channel. I love it. When I can watch him, because he speaks Spanish also, and I don't understand Spanish, so, and he speaks so fast. I tried doing the captions, but he speaks so fast and it goes so fast. I'm like, no, I can't do this. So I wait until he releases an English speaking, and his English is really good also. So I am really enjoying his channel. Just found him. And then another one is Tarot 7 Connection. And I also just found Marilyn from Tarot Clarity. She's the one that started this hashtag. I very much enjoyed that. I thought that they were really good, deep questions to ask tarot readers. And so I enjoy doing that. And I literally just found her. So I look forward to watching what she is putting out on her channel as well. So I highly recommend those 3 hashtags. There was another hashtag that I wanted to do. Where's the paper? Oh, sorry, squeaky chair. And it's called Tarot Romance Tropes. And this was by, see, I've even got it here because I want to do it. 10 Tarot Relationship Styles. This was started by Tarot Magpie, Sylvie. This is really good. But when I started going through all of the, and I highly recommend this one as well. I should have put it in here. But if I do end up doing it, it's probably going to be in July month. And some of the relationships that are talked about, enemies to lovers, friends to lovers, forced proximity, soulmates, slow burn, a lot of these do not really pertain to me and my tarot collection and my tarot journey. I really, really have to think about this one, you know, and stuff like second chances. I have never repurchased another deck that I've given away. I'm not going to say never say never, but at this point I haven't. None of the decks have I, anyways, that's one I highly recommend too, and that's Tarot Yeah, that. Right there. So I've loved watching some of those as well. So some of the favorite things that I got, let me show you. Let me put this aside so that I can show you in the camera. So I got a tuning fork set. I think I got this the end of May because of maybe it was the middle of May. My husband bought this for me. He's seen I had been looking at it. I put it in the safe for later, but you know, in April, I did a lot of chakra work. And then in May, I started, which you'll see briefly, because in May is when I got my okay to start putting weight on my foot again. And a lot of what I did in May was just really, really a lot of trying to walk around in my house and getting up and, you know, and then putting my foot up because I would overdo it. And it was just really hard to really focus on doing a whole bunch of tarot or anything else other than maybe just watching series and stuff like that, because it was a painful process. But I'm doing much, much better every day. I'm stronger and stronger. I've actually gone up and down my stairs with my feet, not my knee. So I'm getting there. I've been walking around, not today because I'm having a rough day from overdoing it, but, you know, walking with a cane. There also, I was walking a little bit. I'm just very cautious without any assistance from anything, but I'm very cautious with that yet. Another reason, because Sully's always around my feet when I'm walking, and I don't want to, until I am 100% balanced in my walking and trust the strength. I know some of it is also like mental, but trust the strength in my, you know, my foot and my leg. Again, I just feel more comfortable when I have like either the cane or my walker with me. And I did use my walker to come down today because I had a bunch of stuff and I've got a little basket on it. So I use that in order to carry all the stuff down. So anyways, because of doing the chakra work and because of doing healing, he bought this for me because I am really trying to learn more about frequency healing. And I believe that that is like the ultimate in healing is frequency. That's why I think that we see when things like placebo really works, because if you are in a frequency of believing in yourself and believing that you are healing or you are healed, there's great power in that. It puts you in that frequency of being healed. I truly, truly 100% believe that. But sometimes when the mental isn't quite there yet because of what you've been through and because of doing chakra work, I wanted to get tuning forks for all the different chakras. And I don't just use it on myself. I also use this on my items. So like for instance, my tarot, I like to do with like the frequency for you know, like the third eye and the crown chakra, so that it really facilitates, like use that frequency on my deck and on stones that are around me, on everything, not just for healing, but just for putting us in that frequency. So I already had the 432. That is the frequency of Mama Gaia. But you can see all the different ones here and the healing stones. So this is one of my favorite things that I got, and I have been using it. I think it's wonderful, and I'm extremely grateful. Let's see how to put this back in here. So that's one thing that I got. Another thing that I got, I was watching this lady on TikTok, and I just loved it. She does, and I follow her on TikTok, and I follow her on YouTube. Is it YouTube or is it Instagram? I don't remember. I don't even, offhand, I don't remember what her name is. But I love watching all the questions. It's like confirmation. Most of the things that she asks these dowsing rods, and I've seen them used before, and I've thought about getting them several times, and then something else came up and I forgot about them. Well, I ended up getting a pair of dowsing rods. So when they cross like this, it's a yes. When they go out like that, it's a no. So you can ask questions like, and this is just, I like to actually connect with it first. They're like going crazy right now, right? So you can ask questions like, oh, come on, stop moving. Is the earth flat? Which it's not doing anything for me right now because I really feel like you got to connect with it. When I have asked it, it said no. But other questions also, like anything. You can ask anything. This lady asks all kinds of questions using these, and they're just fabulous. And I got these off of Amazon for like $14, right? And they're called Spirit Hunter, and they came even in a nice pouch. So I've been playing around with those, and maybe plan on doing maybe some, you know, having you ask me questions that you would like answers to, and then I'll maybe make a couple of videos on it. We'll see. I don't know. So those are really cool things that I got. Another thing that I loved that I got in June are these bags. And I forgot to put, I still got to do the review. Because Artisan Tarot had sent me a couple of decks to review, and I just fell in love with these decks. They're just so beautiful, and the cardstock is beautiful. And so I really wanted to, because I'm not a tuck box person, although I do think that these tuck boxes are beautiful and they're high quality. But I still don't, I prefer to put them in something to protect them. So I got two new bags from a lady on Etsy. She did a beautiful job. This is really high quality fabric. And I will, if I remember, put a link down below where you can find these, and her shop. She's got a lot of stuff. And they came quickly, and I am in love with them. So I don't like putting everything that I have in bags and stuff, because if I did, there is no way that I could remember. But when I do like a couple specialty bags like this, these are the only ones like this that I have, then I know that they were for the artisan decks, the Artisan Tarot decks that were sent to me. So I think they're just beautiful. Could I make these? Yes. Have I made these kind of things before? Yes. But I also like supporting other creators, and I think she does a much better job than I would ever do. And I really loved the fabric. So those were some favorites that I got. I did a video, I'll try to link it below, in the cards, of tons of new decks that I had gotten from the month prior, and all of the edging jobs and stuff that I did. That was one of my favorite things, was all of the modifying of decks that I did. Bridgerton 3, that was one of my favorite things. Being able to get back into my room and comfortably come back up and down at free will. Nobody has to be here to help me. I can do it all by myself, being mobile again, and it changes everything. So my spirits have been a lot better, you know, in June than they were even in May, because of how much progress. I did go back to the doctor. I'm doing really well. Everything looks really good. He was very happy with my progress thus far. He doesn't expect me to be walking regular at this point. but I can put my full weight without it being like massively painful. And I am. So I am walking now with a cane. It's still, anyways, enough with that. And then the books and decks. So let me show you some of the books. Let me move this aside really quick. Oh, I forgot to show you. I got this bag also off of Etsy, or not Etsy, I'm sorry, off of Amazon, and I thought it was so cool for my own deck. I wished it would have been, there would have been a smaller one, but I couldn't get a smaller one. And so I use it for my particular deck. I could actually put, there we go. It's like a little cosmetic bag, but I loved it so much for my deck. So that was another happy thing that I got. I did a walkthrough of the Primordial Dreams Tarot, and this was one of my favorite things that I got in June. This is such a cool deck. Oh my goodness. I've not yet worked with it, however, which, well, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. Because I haven't gotten to that part of the video yet. But if you want to see a full walkthrough and explanation of these cards, I will try to remember to put a card down below to my walkthrough of this particular deck. And I just, it was one of my favorites, definitely. And it does come with a book and the bag. Just fabulous. Love it. Another one of the favorites that I got is, and I have done a walkthrough of this as well. I'm not sure how many cards I can put down below, so I might just put it in the description, or just go and check out, you know, my channel. But this is the conspiracy and true crime. So I have played with this a couple of times. Sometimes I watch true crime stuff and I just, you know, mess around with it. And they're very interesting. Very, very interesting. She does have a second deck that has a whole lot of other really cool stuff that definitely seems more geared towards like conspiracy theories. But I will eventually hopefully get that and then separate, you know, what I want to put into the decks. But that was one of my favorite purchases. I had looked at it prior and just was holding off until it went on sale. And so, yeah. Another one of my favorites, Musing of Aphrodite. I got this towards the end of June. But this, so much better than the last copy. It's just absolutely stunning. Haven't worked with it yet, but I look forward to it. Thinking maybe August. I might pull this out in August. I already got plans for July, which I will discuss here. But you know what? I was going to show you the books. Let me show you the books right quick. So this one, I think I got it in May. And it's the Green Witch's Guide to Herbal Magic. I think I did. I can't remember for sure. And it's by Annabelle Margaret. She's got a couple of different YouTube channels. I just love her. She's so calming to watch. Her videos are beautiful and informative, and you know, she's a green witch, and I love working with herbs and all that. And I really, really want to make, which I had started, and I have not been back down here. I had started a rosemary one, because I want to do like a rosemary salve, and a calendula. So I still got to do those yet, which are really good for probably putting like salve over my scar, or scars I should say, because I got a couple different ones on my foot. So there's stuff about that in here, but I got another book also which has a lot of that stuff in it. The Big Book of Homemade Products for Your Skin, Health, and Home by Jan Berry. Like, oh my gosh. It's got full page color. I love that. It's like a recipe book, right? Because I want to make soaps. I want to make salves and lotions and chapsticks. I want to go as natural as I can. And not just for me, shampoos, but not just for me, but for my husband as well, because he's got extremely sensitive skin. So even like detergents and stuff like that, we can't have dyes or anything like that. So he can only use certain soaps because he breaks out. So I'm thinking something that's more natural we can try, and hopefully it'll be good for him as well. So I got this book. I might have gotten this one in May also. The Big Book of Homemade Products for Your Skin, Health, and Home by Jan Berry. Amazon. Another one I got, and I think I also got this one the end of May, beginning of June maybe. The Wheel of the Year, An Illustrated Guide to Nature's Rhythms by Fiona Cook and Jessica Rouse. This is such a beautiful, beautiful book. I love that it's got all the illustrations and it's got all of the different holidays. I mean, look at how beautiful it is, right? Look at that. Also with like recipes and things to do and stuff like that for, activities, with all the beautiful illustrations for the different holidays. Look at how beautiful that is. Just like witchy stuff, right? Wheel of the Year, witchy stuff. I'm all about it. All right, let me get this under control right quick. That's why you got to be careful when you're burning anything with herbs on it. We'll just keep a close eye on it. I do love burning them with the herbs on them. And I like how it smells too. So, yes. The Wheel of the Year, Illustrated Guide to Nature's Rhythms by Fiona Cook and Jessica Rouse. Also, Amazon. So, I got these. Oh, I think I got these in April. And I just never showed them. God, it might have been even before that. I love archaeology and learning about archaeology. I used to get the Archaeology magazine and keep up on what was going on in the world of archaeology and new discoveries, ancient civilizations. I wanted to go to school to be an archaeologist when I was a kid. And then, you know what, I'm going to just blow this out for now. Oops. I wetted my finger before I did that, just so you know. So, but honestly, I want to be like somebody that's in charge of the archaeological digs or is able to go and visit and see everything. I would not want to be one of those people with the little brush. No, that's just not me. Like, taking my time. I could not be that patient. I'd be like, come on. I'd probably destroy the dig site, right? So being an archaeologist probably was not ever in the cards for me, but I'm still like intrigued by it. Learning about these ancient sites like Göbekli Tepe or Machu Picchu, Stonehenge, just whole kit and caboodle. Just love it. So, and this is a thick book. And this is by Christopher Catling and Paul Bond. And it's just got full images as well. I'm all about it. I'm sorry, let me make sure I'm in here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And the thing with this is, you don't have to go through and read the whole thing. You can just read it at your leisure, you know. Okay, I want to read about this one, or I want to read about this one. And then you read about that particular dig or that particular information. It's super cool. So another one that I got around the same time that I got the archaeology one is Egypt. History and Treasures of an Ancient Civilization by Giorgio Ferrero. And this one is also like full color. Let me get this out of the way. I love that it talks about the history and just what's been discovered and all the images and museum finds. And oh, I've always been drawn to Egypt. Always, ever since I was a kid. I'm sure a lot of that stemmed also from, you know, the big King Tut stuff that happened when I was a kid. So it kind of influenced me. That was probably what got me started on wanting to be an archaeologist to begin with. Was everything that I had watched, like on National Geographic's, or like as I got a little bit older, the History Channel and stuff like that. Magazines. But yes, this is a super cool book with lots of information, images, and yeah, just all about Egypt. Just love it. So those were all the books. So some of the decks that I got also, which I got this one. I did a walkthrough of it and I still haven't put it on. And the last time I talked about it, it was not by me, so I couldn't really show you, but this deck is so cool. I seen this the first time over on Tara's channel, which is Cozy Corner, I think. Something like that. But I think this is a beautiful deck. It is very obviously AI, done with AI. And there should probably be truly different ethnicities in here, but nonetheless, I love that it's got the verses down below and all that. And there is like an online PDF for it. I got it right off of their site, but it's also on Amazon, which I didn't realize it was on Amazon. So there will eventually be a walkthrough of this when I'm able to put it on. But that is one I think is really super cool. Another deck that I got in June is called the Path of Shadows Oracle. And I think this is really cool. I should have had this upstairs with me because I've been doing between May and June a lot of shadow work. Yeah, I'm going to take this upstairs with me. So this is super cool. And the shadow work continues. But, which I'll get to that. I'll get to it. Another deck that I got in June is the Tarot Landscapes. I think this is if I can get it out here. I think this is a beautiful deck. Never happy with tuck boxes, but this is a high quality tuck box. I will say that. I do like that these are all landscapes pretty much. So being able to use these mixed in with other readings is kind of cool. But also with what I'm going to be doing in this month, July, I think this could be beneficial as well. We shall see. I don't know because I haven't used it yet. But that's Tarot Landscapes. I got this on Amazon, and it is by edited by Francesca Mettioni. This is Vivida, and illustrations by Yoshi Mari. Yeah, it's beautiful. So that's another one I got. Another one that was sent to me, and it surprised me how much I really, really love this deck. So I did do a full walkthrough of this one, but this is one of my favorites, also from June. And it's Tarot of Hearts. I love the concept of it. I love the stories that are in the book. The book is excellent. And the illustrations are, this is a very summery deck. I didn't put it in my summer deck simply because I just got it. But this is very summery to me. Very cool. Very entertainer, artist, deck to me. And the cardstock is beautiful. A little bit shorter, a little bit wider than your basic tarot decks. And it's linen, so it just shuffles like a dream. Another, and that was sent to me by US Games for a review, another deck that surprised the heck out of me. And it was sent to me by US Games. You know I'm not an animal tarot person, but cats are a little bit different. Cats, I do feel like, are so friggin' smart and mischievous. And so I could see some of the characteristics of, and I love watching like cat videos and stuff like that. I do love cats. I do. And the cats that are my daughter's cats were our cats. But when she moved, because after we got dogs, they just really got neglected because the dogs would not leave them alone. So we put up a gate so that they were downstairs. The cats were downstairs and they could go freely. But they preferred to stay downstairs where the dogs couldn't come down and pester them. And so my daughter, when they moved out, when she got married and moved out, they took the two cats with them. Smokey is like 14, 15 years old. And he is just ornery. Oh my God, he's ornery. But anyways, they sent this deck to me and I just fell in love. This is so damn cute. Now I'm thinking of getting a couple more cat decks just because of how cute it is. And I love watching them. My mom just got a new cat. Cece, she is so adorable. I love watching the videos when they're all cuddly and they cuddle with their owners or the dogs and stuff. Our cats were never like that. Granted, our dogs never really let them. They were just, dogs are just assholes to them. But the cats could be mischievous too, because Smokey, in his older age, he's just mean. He is so mean. He trapped me down here one day and I had to call my daughter and said, come and get your cat, because he was like following me around, hissing. I'm like, you better back off. I'm like doing this to Smokey and everything. But I mean, ever since he was a kitten, he just, I don't know, something in him. He's like a blue Russian or something. He was just very nasty, like cat, mean. But Pepper, she is a sweetheart. She didn't care about the dog. She'd go up and lay right next to him. If they messed with him, she'd, you know, slap him. But Smokey, he would just like hiss and just, it would cause problems. So anyways, love that deck. It is the cutest damn deck ever. So, and also these two decks that I got. The Tarot Ambiguities and the Rider Marseille deck. Both of them, I love them. And I did work with the Tarot Ambiguities. I do plan on doing some more work with it. But I also plan on using this deck in July. I used this one first and then I'm going to be starting with this one in July. Another deck that I worked with and I want to work with a little bit more is the Keymaster Tarot. This deck is just so stunning. I love the cardstock. I love that it's like playing cards, and I did get a playing card set too, but I haven't shown the video of that yet. It was a Kickstarter, and it's so pretty, but this is just so gorgeous. So I use this in one of my spreads. I play around with my decks. Not everything, not all spreads go into my my journal. Okay, so this is one of them that I played with. Like when I'm watching videos and stuff, this was one I had on hand upstairs. I brought, like I said, I brought a lot of stuff down that I played with. I like to shuffle it a lot, and I like to see what I see in the cards, especially because this is more like a pip, right? With like playing cards. So that is really, really cool to me. Another deck that I used this month, because you know that I created my spreads deck, Love of Spreads Oracle, right? Well, I had gotten this one and I did a walkthrough of it, to Tarot Spreads Year deck. And this is a deck full of spreads. And there is a whole section on shadow. So I did several of these, which you will see in June. And I also did some shadow work spreads from, what is it, La Pantiere? I don't remember. Here, let me show you. Oops. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. What are they called? La Pantiere. They had released like this pamphlet, this PDF, back in April, I think it was, and I started using it in May and also did some in June, but I have to finish them. These are all different tarot spreads as well for doing shadow work. So I started doing these in my journal as well. And it was just something, if you're like on the newsletter, so I suggest getting on the newsletter. So there was a total of 7 spreads for shadow work. And then, so I did like 4 of these, I think, between May and June. And I've still got a few more to do, I suppose. Okay, so I suppose now's the time to show you my journal. I'm not going to show you all my write-up because they're personal, okay? But these were my cards that I got for June, or I'm sorry, for May. And how fitting. This was what I did, like doing a ritual, right? And I turned off the lights so that you can see the screen better. So these were the cards I did during like a ritual year ahead spread. And I put them in envelopes. And I've talked about this before. It was one of my favorite videos that I did in January to start off the new year. And these were the cards that I got for the month of May. And how interesting that I would get I am healthy in the same month that, you know, I get told that I can start walking again, that my foot is healed and I can start walking again. And by the way, this is a tower year for me, right? So literally my foundations came crumbling down, right, in February. So it has definitely been a tower year for me. You just cannot make this stuff up, I'm telling you. So this was the shadow spread. And these were the, I used the Wild Reflections, Outward Trigger that affects me, my dark emotional response, my perception of the trigger, a past trauma. This is from the La Penthiere 7 free shadow work spreads. A past trauma or hurtful memory that affects how I interpret, advice for better and more purposeful responses in the future. So that was that spread. This is the second shadow work spread in that. And I used the B tarot for that. This was in May. This was part of May's that I never showed. When someone doesn't like me, I often assume it is because what I should realize about those people, behavior that I got punished for as a child, an actual toxic trait that I need to own up to, and how to cultivate a more realistic self-image. Those were the cards that I got. And then here was another one. Oh, and did I say what I used? Yeah, the B Tarot. And what did I use for the... Oh, the Wild Reflections. The third one, I used the Tarot of Persephone's Garden. This is the third shadow work spread. And this is what? One toxic trait that I don't like in potential friends. One toxic trait that I don't like in my potential lovers. One toxic trait that sets me off from authority figures and the root of my intolerance. And those were my lovely cards, right? So then I also did a spread, simple spread, that was from the Cosmic Wisdom Tarot that I got that was Ethany's. Source of Unrest and the Path to Peace. And these were the cards that I got. Remember, keep in mind, this was May. So 5 of Cups, because I was dealing with so much pain, I was thinking, oh my God, is this right? Is there something wrong? You know, and there wasn't. I mean, it's just, it was extremely painful. I think because of all the metal that's in my ankle, I don't know. Or just because it's a lot of weight to try to put on my ankle. Either way, I was so worried about getting better and feeling a loss of what I was incapable of doing right now, right? But the way to the path to peace was the Ace of Pentacles. So seeing what opportunities I had, what I was grateful for, looking at the progress that I've made thus far, and really, you know, taking, just checking in on myself more or less. Gratitude, right? So then we moved into June. These were my June cards. I still haven't done my write-up. I like to do my write-up at the end of the month so that I can reflect on the cards that I got, right? And to see how they played themselves out. And I got the Hanged Man for June. How fitting, because I feel like I'm in a pause state, that I can't do all of the things that I want to do. I can't go out anywhere really walking yet because it is a struggle, right? Because I'm still studying myself on the cane, and the walker is just, ay caramba, it's just a lot, okay? To go into big stores or, you know, and do too much walking yet, because I have to pace myself with, you know, putting my foot up after a long day of being on it all day, because it swells up like double the size of my other ankle. And maybe because of the metal, the doctor did say that that's normal, but there's still that, like in between. So it was very appropriate to get the Hanged Man. The kitchen magic, also for June, I started cooking again. And I've made a couple of meals towards the end of June as I was able to start being on my feet more. So I think that was really on point, right? And even the orange elevates and invigorates, and I eat a lot of orange for the strength and the vitamins and stuff like that, but also because I needed to be reminded of keep on looking forward, keep on working towards what it is that my goal is, even on hard days when I don't want to because of the pain or discomfort or whatever. I just got to keep on moving forward, and I am. And then this one was Daphne, I am disappearing. And this was a Greek myth. Let me read it to you really quick. The Greek myth or nymph Daphne pledged her virginity and service to the goddess Artemis. Unfortunately, Apollo fell madly in love with Daphne and advanced upon her. Resolving to stay a virgin, she ran from the lustful god, calling to her father for his help. He made her disappear and transformed her into a laurel tree. A heavy numbness seized her limbs. Thin bark closed over her breast. Her hair turned into leaves. Her arms into branches. Her feet, so swift a moment ago, stuck fast in slow-growing roots. Her face was lost in the canopy. Only her shining beauty was left. Since you can't be my bride, at least you will certainly be my tree. Roman poet Ovid. From that day forward, Apollo used the laurel tree for creating weapons and wreaths with which victors and champions wore. Her tale is one of sexual assault and feminine silencing. The challenge is harassment. The gift is testimony. I am disappearing. That was the front of the card. And to me, this just really was me coming to grips with where I am in my healing progress and just being okay with it, more or less. I think that, I felt like I didn't have, like with the laurel wreaths, I didn't have the victory that I wanted. But she ended up becoming a tree with roots, rooted, which has to do with, like for me, my feet. I just think that that's very, very cool. And then this is the postcards one. Dearest you, we are sending you waves of love and joy as we watch you reap the rewards of your tenacity and faith. We know how long it has taken for you to reach some of your goals and that you've had disappointments along the way. Right now, we suggest that you take a deep breath and fill yourself up with gratitude and tune into the vibration of well-being. Hence, I also got the frequency, the tuning forks. Change is the only constant, so be open to it. You will achieve your dreams and more, we promise. But more important, your happy rewards will be gathered up in the small moments, the gentle breezes, the soft kisses, and the quiet commitments. Your happiest moments will be on the journey itself, not in arriving at any destination. And it says you are surrounded by so much love and care. Can you feel us? And let me tell you something. Every time that I was able to take steps with a cane and not a walker, and every time that, like, when I made a meal for my family again, and we sat down and ate a really good meal together that I did all by myself because I was able to do it again, those were beautiful moments for me that teared me up and really made me appreciate. And yeah, they may seem like small little achievements, but to me they were huge, right? And it really makes me appreciate, like it says, my tenacity and my faith in my ability to just keep on friggin' going, right? So that's what I'm going to be writing about. Then I did a painful path spread, and this one was out of the New Oracle, I believe, or this might have been, is it this one? Let's see. Yes, okay. It was spread 4 from the Pantheer. I used the Tarot of Persephone's Garden, I love that deck so much. It's so beautiful. It seems appropriate to be doing shadow work also, like I talked about, with that deck because of going into the underworld, right? The underworld is like our deepest, darkest subconscious. So what is coming forward from the past? What was the root cause of what happened? What have I forgotten that could shed more light on this situation? And that is the path forward I should travel. And that was my write-up. And then the 7 keys of Hecate. I'm really feeling Hecate calling me, okay? And so I did this particular, I found it off of hailhecate.com, and it was the 7 keys of Hecate. And I used the Madame Lydia Wilhelmina's tarot, which I friggin' adore this deck. It's never far from me. I just love it so much. And it also feels like a beautiful deck for shadow work. Hopefully they're done. We'll see. So I think someone's walking their dog. So the 7 keys of Hecate, this spread is the key. This card represents the key to unlocking your connection with Hecate and accessing her guidance. The second card is the crossroads. This card represents the crossroads of your life and the choices that you face. The third one is the cauldron. This card represents the transformative power of Hecate and the changes that you need to make in your life. And these were all with the K, and my program kept on changing them, and I'm like, heck with it. So I just let it name it with the C, Hecate. The next one is the torch. This card represents the light that Hecate shines on your path and the guidance that she provides. The serpent. This card represents the wisdom that Hecate offers and the knowledge that you need to gain. The owl. This card represents the hidden knowledge and mysteries that Hecate can help you uncover. And the last one, the keyhole. This card represents the final key that unlocks the full potential of your connection with Hecate and the guidance that she provides. I thought that this was a really cool spread, and so this one is friendship. Now this one was one of the, out of the tarot spreads year deck, and I used the Keystone, or the Keymaster Tarot. I like that it's playing cards. I used, so this was a friendship shadow work spread, and I liked using also a key again. And this is the Tarot Spreads Year deck that I used. I like putting those things into my journals. And I made her eyes really, really green. They were green, but I made them greener with, this. So the questions for this, and it's like spilling the tea almost. So I put a teacup there, but it's also Alice in Wonderland artwork, which I love. And that's also why I wanted to use playing cards. What toxic friendship looks like to me. How I contribute to toxicity in my friendships. How I deal with toxicity in my friendships, and how I can unknot toxic patterns in my friendships. Very good readings. So this one was Shadows of the Mind. This was also another one from the Tarot Spreads Year deck. And I used the Madame Lydia's Tarot for this one. Madame Lydia Wilhelmina's. The questions for this one are a problematic thought pattern I'm experiencing, negative consequences of this thought pattern, negative consequences of this thought. Okay, so there was a couple for each one of them. And then positive consequences of this thought pattern and positive consequences of this thought pattern. And 6, how can I shed new light on this thought pattern? So those were the cards that I got. And the artwork that I used and my write-up, but I don't really need to share that. So I used the Wild Reflections Tarot again, And this one was another spread. This is a generational shadow spread, also out of the Tarot Spreads deck, which I do like. I think it is a great deck. And I'm running out of spreads for my own deck. So, the questions were for generational shadow, a generational shadow or trauma that I've inherited. 2, the consequences of this shadow / trauma on my family. 3, the consequences of this shadow / trauma on me. And 1 small thing that I can do to heal myself / my family. And I got 2 cards for 2 and 2 cards for 3. And these were like my cards. And then this is one of mine out of the Love of Spreads Oracle, and I worked with the Phases in Forest, which I didn't bring that down, and I do have a walkthrough coming with a pairing, but it just has an air jet. This deck is absolutely stunning. I love the Roots and Wings, and so it was a given that I was going to get this one also. So these were my 4 cards for the flow of creation. So what is the status of my frequency? How can I better focus my energy? What emotions are blocking me, and how better can I align my energy? And then, of course, my write-up. The moving forward spread, this is also one of mine, Love of Spreads Oracle. I use the Tarot of Aphrodite's Garden. And moving forward, where do I feel stuck in my life? What thoughts hold me here? What actions keep me here? What needs to be silenced in me? And what action should I take next? And these were the cards that I got. So it was really good. The next one is the Shadow. I think this was one of mine. Did I not put it on here? Nope, I haven't yet. This is one that is in my Love of Spreads Oracle deck. The Shadow. What is lurking in the shadow? Why is it still there? How can I bring this to light? How does this affect me? And advice from higher self / guide. See, the thing is with shadow work, there's not always just one shadow. There can be several different shadows that you have, and they're not all bad either. Some of it has to do with, I mean, some things that you suppress in yourself are probably good, but you were taught through generational traumas or through societal traumas that you should not show those parts of yourself. And they're not always bad. They're just suppressed sometimes. And a lot of my shadows revolve around another reason why I like using the Tarot of Persephone's Garden, because it is so female oriented. A lot of my shadow has to do with feminine principle and the suppressing of femininity in our society. So these are the cards that I got. Madame Lydia Wilhelmina's. Beautiful. And my write-up. So, like I said, I felt like I was being called by, just because of like dreams and other like synchronicities and stuff like that I'm not going to get into, but I felt like I was being called by a deity. So this is one of the spreads that's in my Love of Spreads Oracle deck, and it's called Deity. Is a deity reaching out to me? How are they reaching out? Why are they reaching out? Will this benefit me? And message from the deity. So I use the Tarot of Ambiguities or Tarot de Ambiguities that was sent to me by Artisan Tarot. And I also use the Supra Oracle, which has to do, and you can't even see that. It has to do with archetypes and stuff like that. And then this is a spread that was done. I'm in Evelyn Cameron's, I get her newsletters and stuff. And I follow her, you know, obviously, and just adore her on YouTube. And she went through a really rough period of time, which she's talked about on her channel. I'm not going to go into detail, but she created a wonderful spread that was sent in the newsletter, and also it's on her blog, I believe, off of AvalonCameron.com, I believe. So this was the spread, and I also used the Tarot of Persephone, and it's called Embracing the Empress, and I highly recommend getting on her newsletter, because the article that she wrote about embracing like the Empress energy in the tarot, it was really good. And like I said, that's where a lot of my shadow revolves around, is femininity. And you know, we think as females that we are suppressed so much by like masculinity, but that's not even all. I mean, there is so much toxic femininity and female shaming, mother shaming, and fat shaming, and you know, just all in all, just shaming that happens from other women to other women as well. And that's part of my shadow work that I'm still working through. So I wanted to do this spread. So the questions are, and she goes into much bigger detail in the newsletter and on her blog. But the heart of the Empress, so that's the central theme of the spread. Nurturing yourself, that's self-care. Embracing vulnerability, so healing wounds. Creative expression, which is unlocking creativity. Sensuality and pleasure, which has to do with sacred sexuality. Inner strength, and so empowerment. And wholeness and self-love, which is integration of these things. Just wonderful. Wonderful write-up. So there, that was my month. So next month, I am going to be focusing on still shadow work. I feel like it's an ongoing thing for me, and it has been with the healing process. So because of, in the beginning, I am in a much better place than what I was, just because of the healing that is taking place, and how my perseverance and tenacity is proving to me that I'm going to be okay, that I'm going to be able to get, and it might not ever be normal, but I'll be functional, right? I might have arthritis when I'm older, but being my way, I probably was going to have arthritis in my feet and my legs and my knees anyway. So, you know, and it is what it is. But anywho, I feel like when you're on a healing journey and you want to do like chakra work, and I want to, the best way to heal myself is through frequency and shadow work. And what I plan on doing in July is working on archetypes that have to do with shadow work and archetypes, and also past life stuff. So past life things that are affecting me in this life, and why it's causing shadows in this life, or things that I have planned for myself to work through. So I don't know what decks I'm going to be using yet. Definitely I'm going to be using the Tarot of Ambiguities and the Rider Marseille, those two decks, because I really want to get into those. And I'm maybe even using some Lenormand. We'll see, because I'm learning about Lenormand and I'm learning about Tarot de Marseille. And probably the Path of Shadows. I'm going to be using that. I don't know why I keep doing that, because you can't see. But anyways, one last thing that I wanted to do was open up my July envelope. It's still sealed, so we're going to do it together. So we've got, oh, I am shame. Interesting. Meditation, right? I mean, with working on shadow work and past life stuff in July. We'll read that one in a minute. Siberian fir relieves and revitalizes. Okay. I see this one as like healing. And I think this is the Ace of Wands. Okay. So maybe it's time to take action on what I'm going. I want to read this one. I am shame. Hadst thou wished for things good or noble, and had not thy tongue formed evil speech, shame would have shone from thy eyes, but thou hadst spoken frankly about it. And that's Sappho. And it's Eidos. Eidos was the Greek goddess of shame and also acted as a conscience and moral compass for humankind. Personal shame is buried deep within our being, always there to entrap and haunt us, to make us feel small and disempowered. We may live in fear that our shame may become exposed. Repressed shame creates a place within us that is rich in self-loathing, compulsion, and anger. Our inner critic needs much self-love and kindness, as it is happy to feed and thrive on our shame. Sharing our dark feelings in a safe way can bring awareness and healing. Shame attacks our self-worth and our ability to thrive. Social shame is misplaced shame. Women historically have been threatened into silence or punished for speaking out. Today, many women are speaking out, sharing their shame and removing the silence. The challenge is guilt. The gift is release. Wow. I think I know what this is about. I was thinking about sharing my story about what I went through as a young woman, and hopefully, in an abusive relationship on my channel, and hopefully it helps other women and their stories. And I also wonder if it has anything to do with Black Moon Lilith and where she sits in my chart this month. So I'm going to be checking into that also. So, and I want to read what the card said. And so meditation, when I look at meditation, I think definitely it's about taking the time out, pausing and reflecting, right? And then taking action upon, and so relieves and revitalizes. I'll have to read the book. I don't have it right here with me, but let's read the postcard. Dearest wonderful you, to help you manifest a life for the highest good, we invite you to examine your deepest desires. Imagine all your desires, no matter what kind, like magic seed pods in a basket glowing with infinite potential. Look closely at each one. Are you afraid that some may bring you too much attention and invite negative reactions from others? And is change too daunting? Are you afraid to stretch and grow? Let yourself be led forward and let the seeds of positive intentions take to the wind. Your desires count and you are worthy of them. They are essential for co-creating your world. Did you ever consider that when a desire comes from deep within you, it might be spirit moving you to create something beautiful to share with others? Wow. Some desires are infused with miraculous powers to move the heart and influence the world in ways that you can't possibly know. God, I got goosebumps. We know you and love you so deeply and are so happy to support you. Yeah, gosh, I think it might be about what I said and sharing my actual testimony of what I went through, and hoping that it will help, because I feel like we do need to have our sisterhood, supporting one another through the things that we have been through, and it's those things that have helped mold us into who we are today. So, and perhaps there's some of that in my past life too. Perhaps I have been a perpetrator of those things, and maybe that's also where some shame might come in, and maybe that's why I had to see it from a different perspective, or I don't know. We'll see how the month plays out. But thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you have enjoyed seeing what my June was and what I have planned for July. And I am sending you love always. Thank you so much.